Hello and welcome to this episode of Eagle's Eye. I am your host, Drake Crumley. Thank you for tuning in. I am joined today by Ashland University's Director of the Center for Life Calling, Zach McGrain. Zach, how are you doing today?
Good, doing well, Drake. Thanks for having me today. I've watched a lot of the clips and the videos out on YouTube and excited to be here.
Well, we're excited to have you here today. Let's start off. Can you tell us a little bit about what your role is as the Executive Director?
Yeah, as the Executive Director, well, first I came to Ashland University in the summer of 21, so we're almost 5 years in now of being in the role. But as my role is to, first and foremost, to always be student-focused, understanding you all have chosen to invest into Ashland University with your experience and the opportunities that come with AU, but to also help students really navigate what is after Ashland University. So not only being successful while we're here, but preparing for transitioning into that next chapter of where your career may take you, along with leading the team of the Career Center for Life Calling. So we have great professional staff, a student ambassador team of undergraduate students who are really leading the initiatives to have the highest impact that we possibly can on our students at AU.
And then kind of going off of that train of thought, what are some of the main goals that the Center for Life Calling is striving towards?
Yeah, the emphasis on experiential learning, especially in higher education, is high now as ever. We work a lot with employers, learning what are you all looking for in that next generation of college graduates. So learning from our employers what kind of skills, those transferable skills. We all say we communicate well, we problem solve, but ultimately how do we show evidence for it? And helping students reflect on their experience. Because every experience you all possess, whether you're doing the work that you're doing right now or behind the camera, understanding all of those experiences have great value, and how do we articulate clearly to those employers or graduate programs, whatever is next, the internship that may be in the future, how do we make sure that you reflect on those experiences, but also can communicate those clearly on that difficult resume paper or in that interview that's most likely in a part of the process.
And the organization just held the Career and Internship Fair.
It did, yes.
Would you be able to expand on what this event was and kind of how it played out?
Yeah, so we host a variety of different career-related fairs or events throughout the year. The one we just had on Wednesday from 5 to 7 in Upper Convo, we had a record 51 employers there. That was the highest that I've seen since I've been a part of the department, a part of AU, and almost 129 students, so almost 130 students walked through the door. And that fair is for all students, and I think that's one of those pieces of, if it doesn't say your major, sometimes students maybe are like, well, that must not be for me. There are opportunities across so many different industries and different professional internship opportunities, full-time jobs, seasonal employment. So yes, it was Wednesday a couple days ago now, but at the same point, we always empower students to say, if you think you should go or might want to go, you should go. Just to go shake some hands, practice, what is this process going to look like? Because one handshake may change your entire trajectory of where your career, where your opportunities may go. So very proud of the team that I get to lead. Sarah Lakowski, our Assistant Director for External Relations, put on a phenomenal event along with Olivia McCollum and Sarah Loomis, the rest of our team. So yes, it's not just the Executive Director. If anything, it's more of the team that we have that's able to execute that. But credit to our students for showing up and representing AU well, because the employers always have great feedback about the AU student and the quality that you all possess. So it makes our job easier when you all represent yourselves well.
That's phenomenal. And then the Center for Life Calling has tons of workshops that are available throughout the year, such as career coaching. Would you be able to expand on what all that entails?
Yeah, so we have two services that are really based or focused more on that kind of one-on-one aspect. So career coaching and our mock interviews are two one-on-one services. Career coaching, all of our one-on-one services are 30 minutes long. So we don't want to take 3 hours of your day. We probably could, because it's a big conversation to have. But we really want to focus on, okay, here we are today as a sophomore looking for maybe internships, and understand there's a lot of things that we can probably be working on, but what are a couple of things that we can focus on? If today's Friday, what can we do by Sunday? So really breaking this big kind of scary topic of career and life calling and success and say, well, what is one thing that we could do by Friday or by Saturday or by Sunday to start to get that momentum going? Yes, we will review resumes and making sure we're meeting best practices with those. And then the mock interview part is pretty traditional mock interview, Q&A back and forth. And then with their workshops, so those are really built to kind of be in that 50-minute, 1 hour long class session, or in a student organization. Our main menu of workshops right now are resume and cover letter, internship and job search, so internship job search process, and I think my favorite is what we call our leadership branding workshop, our personal branding workshop, which also interacts some networking components in there too, of understanding, what is the saying, it's not what we know, it's who we know, but we always like to say, but it's also what they know about us. So obviously from AU, hopefully you know a lot, but also making sure you're representing yourself well in that professional arena, because that's what it's going to take to find that big opportunity after AU.
And I know you alluded to the mock interviews just a little bit. Has student feedback on that indicated that it's something that's beneficial to the student body?
Yes, absolutely. And not to scare anyone away, but the questions that we ask may be on the more challenging side. As we always say, we want the worst interview to be with us. Not that we want anyone to have a bad experience, but we really focus on what are called behavioral-based questions. I am never going to be a nurse, an accountant. I don't believe so at this point. So there's a lot of industries I've never worked in and don't plan on working in. So when we focus on the interview part of the process, we want to understand, how do you act within specific situations? So tell me about a time you had a conflict with a teammate or a coworker, and how did you communicate or manage through that process? And again, you could be a teacher, a nurse, an accountant, you could be a project manager. Those are all relevant experiences. And whether you're on an athletic team here, a student organization, we all have disagreements, right? So again, all of your experiences, all of our students' experiences have value. But also sometimes at the end of the 9 or 10 questions that we have, students are like, oh, I never thought about that, which is exactly what we want. We want you to start to think about the moments, the experiences that we have. Yes, we want the big paid internship, but volunteer experience can have just as big of an impact in that interview or professional opportunity. So we ask about communication styles, we ask about teamwork, problem solving, a time you felt like you were creative or innovative, right? So starting to kind of look at the holistic, experience for the student. But then also with the time that we have left over, we always review, right? We'll give feedback. The student obviously asks as many questions that you can to us, because we want you to leave, again, in that short 30 minutes, 1% better than when you walked in. Hopefully more than 1%, but if there's any improvement, that's exactly what we're here to do, is to help support students move forward.
That's phenomenal. And then on that same kind of track of thought there as well, obviously to get to the interview, having something like a resume and a cover letter are very vital. Obviously, when students are coming in, they're probably bringing a whole different variety of quality of resumes and cover letters, or maybe none at all. Again, further to that as well, is that something that you guys feel very confident you improve upon every time a student comes in?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of credit to our faculty across Ashland University. We've been integrated into a lot of coursework and going into specific classes. The resume workshop is a phenomenal workshop, but it's very fundamental, right? I always tell students, don't leave today thinking you are an expert, because ultimately that piece of paper called a resume has to be you on that document. Yes, we want bullet points and we want to use bold and italics and all of those parts, but we also want to make sure that your voice is not lost in regards to what our best practices. We want you to be shown authentically on that piece of paper, but also meeting industry standards. There's a lot of applicant tracking systems, some will call it artificial intelligence, that are reviewing for keywords. So we really want to help students make sure we're meeting the basic minimum of what the requirement is for the job, but then also really showcasing those experiences. So I always tell a student, the moment you feel like your resume is perfect, we probably need to work on it. And the moment you realize you need to work on your resume, then absolutely come see us, because we're never going to claim that everything is going to be perfect, but I always tell students, we want to have a mindset that we're always 80% ready. So when that opportunity becomes available, a faculty member, Dr. So-and-so, reaches out to you and says, hey, send me your resume, we want you to, in 1 hour, or stop by our office and say, I need to send this in the next hour, can you help me? That's a lot easier if we have a good structured outline than from starting from scratch. So always that mindset of 80% ready. We don't have a magic rubric to necessarily assess 80%, but the more of the fundamental pieces that we have together early on in our experience here at AU, the better off we're going to be able to use those documents in a professional and successful outcome.
And something that is available for the university is the career closet. Would you be able to maybe touch on that a little bit? Because obviously how you are dressed in an interview is equally just as important
Absolutely.
as the rest of that documentation.
Yeah, so our career closet is located on the first floor within our College of Business and Economics. They've done, with some donor funding, have done a phenomenal job. I would say it kind of looks like a very nice retail store in there now. So students can reach out to the career closet and schedule an appointment. They can also reach out to us, and we can help them schedule those appointments. If there's anyone out there that wants to donate, we're always looking for donations also. So kind of not a shameless plug to help supply that, but a great opportunity to understand we don't always walk around college in a suit and looking good with our ties, right? But always being prepared. We don't know when that next key speaker is going to be on campus, or maybe a panel that maybe we missed an email. So it gives us an opportunity to go get a tie, get a pair of shoes. If we need a jacket to put on, there's sizes across the board for students. So a great opportunity if you need something in a hurry, or ultimately, professional clothing is not always the most exciting thing to go out and purchase. So a good opportunity to put something in your closet that you have a go-to regardless of when you may need it.
Yeah, that kind of fancy style clothing is definitely, it's a bit on the higher end of cost for sure. But moving on from that, would you be able to provide some insight on Handshake and the importance of it here at Ashland University?
Yeah, so I tell employers and I tell all of our students, Handshake is the virtual front door to the Career Center for Life Calling. It is a phenomenal tool. It is the gold standard of career management systems, in higher education. But it's just a tool. I tell a lot of people, Handshake is like a hammer. A hammer is essential for all construction, but it also can destroy a room really quickly. So we want to make sure it's the well-used version of the tool. But right now, we average, on average, we're looking at about 60 to 70,000 new positions posted in Handshake for our AU student per month. So it is a system that is robust with opportunity, but with how Handshake works is employers have to ask permission to recruit you all as AU students. So we do our due diligence to make sure that the contact information is correct, that it doesn't look fraudulent. There's also some safety nets in there where other institutions, if they maybe had a negative experience with an employer, we can see that feedback too. So we can use the best evidence that we can to make sure we're allowing the best employers into the system to ultimately have the best impact for you all as students. But at the foundation of Handshake, it is a job board. It is a job board for college-age students or individuals coming with zero to 1 year of experience, which is going to be most college-age students. So you're not going to see many positions in there that are going to require 10 years of experience. But it really is the kind of the front door to finding those kind of early opportunities as an AU student. But then also that's where all of our marketing comes from. So all of our career fairs, the career fair we just had, you would have registered on Handshake. All of our career coaching appointments, our mock interviews, all of those are all internal to our Handshake system. If you're ever required to come for a class, we have that roster. We always send it back to the faculty members. So it really is our management tool within the department. But I always tell students, don't treat it like this is the answer to all of the questions. It is a tool. It is only as efficient as how we use it, but also we're here to help you use that tool to hopefully have the best result possible. But phenomenal way to connect students to employers, but also to us, but then also understanding there's great tools like LinkedIn and Indeed and so many job boards out there. It's just one part of the Swiss Army knife of what we're looking to build for you as a student.
That's a phenomenal thing that the university offers, and along with other things, again, that the university offers. What is the Success Hub? I've heard a little bit about it, but I'd love to have you expand on that.
Yeah, so our alumni department started a LinkedIn group for AU alumni, but really we want our current students to be in there because ultimately you are going to become an alumni someday, right? So we want to find an opportunity to connect our current alums that are out there doing great things within the professional workforce, but also having an impact on our current student population, but also helping us all stay connected, right? And understanding we have individuals going out and doing amazing things within so many different diverse fields. we want to keep in touch. We want to stay in track, but also we want to celebrate the successes that we have here at AU, because we always love bringing those folks back to Ashland to give us their time, give us their treasure and their knowledge and their experience, hopefully recruiting some of our students. So it's a great opportunity in that virtual space in kind of the public domain of LinkedIn to stay connected with our alums, but also with our students here at AU.
Now, one of the programs that the university has is the Eagle Community Partner program, which I'm actually personally very familiar with, but would you be able to touch on that more, please?
Yeah, so Eagle Community Partners, really, I always look at ECP, as we call it, as kind of a bike wheel, right, where the Career Center for Life Calling is kind of the hub, and there's so many spokes that come off of what that program is. So what it is it's a program for nonprofit organizations in K-12, nonprofit K-12, but then also for-profit organizations to invest into Ashland University. But ultimately, that investment is really going back to their staff, dependents of their staff, and the spouses of that staff member to receive a tuition discount depending on what program and field of study. It looks a little bit different depending on undergrad and graduate studies, but ultimately it's an opportunity for an organization to invest into AU, plus it has benefits where there's discounts and other pieces to engaging with Ashland University. There's three different levels that come with it. If you're at the highest level, you get unlimited career fair participation, so those fees are waived. But ultimately, at the root of it is an opportunity for a company, an organization to go back to their staff, and also that staff's dependents and spouses, to say, we've invested in you to continue your education or to support you through that journey. And then alongside that, there's recruiting benefits, there's branding opportunities, where we as a department really showcase those employers uniquely to our students to help showcase the internships and full-time jobs that may be coming available.
So as you've made it very clear throughout this interview, there is a lot of moving components going on within your department. And you're not alone in this department. You have quite a few assistants. Would you be able to explain, what it's like working with all of these other great people?
Well, first of all, it's fun. And I think that's, for me as the director, I think I want to work in an environment that, every day is something new. And working with college-age students, young adults, right? In reality, it is, it's still kind of a vulnerable moment for you all. Of, classes can be challenging. There's understanding we have spring break coming up, which is hard to believe. But understanding you all are still transitioning in regards to kind of what is next. You've been in the educational, world for a long time. But also it's a very exciting opportunity, whether students met with us 35 times or it's their very first time. It's an opportunity to get to know a student, get to understand what are their goals, what are their interests, skills, and values, and start to put a plan together. But the team that we have right now is phenomenal. And with Sarah Lakowski, who's been with us it'll be a year this summer. We brought in a new staff member, our life calling career coach, Sarah Loomis, who is an AU alum, played professional basketball overseas for about 5 years. So she's back here at Ashland University and has really taken her role on with a full head of steam. And then our administrative assistant, Olivia McCullum, is actually in her master's program here at Ashland University and will sadly be transitioning off of our team to continue to pursue her education. So we're looking to always evolve and build a new team as we may have a new opportunity coming available with her opening. But they are phenomenal professionals. We are always student first. And I think that's a value that I always make sure, regardless of who we bring to the team, the only reason why we're here is because you're sitting here as an Ashland University student. So not to say we will have every answer or be able to fix every problem, but the only reason why we're here is to serve you and make sure that your experience is as high quality as it can be to help you jump into the next chapter of where your career is going.
And in serving to the students further, are there any additional upcoming events that the Center for Life Calling will be putting on for the rest of the semester?
Yeah, so in regards to us leading individually, historically we've done a physician's assistant career fair in June, which is obviously very specific to our PA program down in Mansfield. But really from here on out, it's really kind of emphasizing to those graduating seniors, come see us. If you have a position, great, let us know. But if you don't, it's never too late, whether you've seen us, again, 35 times or 0, come see us. Let's talk, let's have a conversation. And really one of the parts too we like to focus on with students right now is if we're going to graduate school and we're a junior right now, those grad school applications may be coming up in late September, early October. in big gap here with summer, so that clock's gonna click pretty quick as you come back. So really for here on out for the summer or semester, we have no large events, but really it's, we want to meet with as many students individually, talk about summer plans, and hopefully celebrate those seniors, or we will be celebrating those seniors as they get to walk across that stage here in about 6 weeks or so.
And then for those future students, prospective students, things like that, current students even, of course, if they wanted to learn more about what the Center for Life Calling has to offer, what would be the best way for them to do so? Yeah,
so current students, yes, we have a website, and all of the website for current students is probably going to lead you to Handshake, because that's where a lot of our events and materials are going to be. But our website, cclc-au at ashland.com or .edu is a great way to get started. A lot of our faculty, there's a faculty page there where they can request workshops in different pieces. We have an employers page, which ultimately leads them to Handshake to post positions for you all. But ultimately, come see us in the Career Center for Life Calling. We're on the 8th floor of the library. It is a beautifully renovated space. We just celebrated actually this coming Wednesday will be 2 years in the space. Wednesday of spring break, we moved in 2 years ago. But a beautiful space, and it is your space as a student. So come up and see us, ask questions. I always tell pretty much everyone that we work with, don't let us be a part of what you're doing, make us be a part of what you're doing. Because if we don't know what's going on, it's hard for us to support you as a student or a faculty or a department. We are here to collaborate and make this experience as high quality as we can potentially help you make it. But yeah, 8th floor of the library, best case scenario. Worst case scenario, you get the best view of Ashland, Ohio. Yeah, it's a beautiful space, and we're very fortunate for it. And come see us. We'd love to help.
Well, Zach, thank you so much for coming in today and taking the time to speak with me.
Absolutely, I appreciate it.
That will be it for this episode of Eagle's Eye. Make sure to follow us across all social media at AUTV Ashland. Until next time, I'm Drake Crumley. Thank you for watching.